Hello, friends. It's the best week of the year, Masters Week. I'm Kevin O'Brien, and I'll be guiding a panel of RotoWire experts as they provide their top DFS plays and best bets for the first major of the year. You can see how we really feel at the end as we conduct a live draft with a little something on the line. Please join me in welcoming RotoWire golf editor Ryan Andrade, RotoWire golf editor Ryan Poole, and RotoWire senior golf writer Len Hochberg. All three already or will have live content available on our website, so be sure to check out rotowire.com before making your final picks for the week. Augusta National needs no introduction, but there are a few important things to note about the course. Len, how do you expect Augusta to play this year?
Yeah, Kevin and Ryan, great to be with you. The weather is, as we were just talking off camera, is a concern. We've got some rain coming in on Thursday and Wednesday night, maybe into Thursday. So we could see the course, which is already 75-55 on the scorecard, and some people think plays closer to 7,900 with all the nuances and intricacies, could be even longer this week. So that will be a challenge for the golfers. And so definitely an advantage to be long, but there are other things that may be even more important than length, such as, your ability to play on and around the greens.
Right. So, all right. Well, we've got to look at the track here. So with that in mind, Ryan, what do you think are a few important stats to check out?
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off what Len said as far as the length of the course, I think that's one of the things that gets overlooked sometimes with Augusta. It's long, and with the weather, potentially limiting rollout, I think it's definitely going to favor the longer hitters. So driving distance is certainly a stat that I'm honing in on this week. I think the other one is strokes gained tee to green. As we know, you're not really going to compete at Augusta if you're just in good form with one part of your game. It's going to test every club in the bag. You're going to need to drive it well. You're going to need to approach it well, especially from 200 plus yards to take advantage of the par fives. And it's also not a place where, you're going to hit 15, 16 greens in regulation. Also, to what Len said, you're going to need to chip it well here. There's going to be a lot of holes where you're going to miss the green. You're going to have to get up and down to save par and keep the round going.
Right on. Good stuff there, Ryan. At the end of the day, tee it high and let it fly. All right. So we've got the conditions. We've got some numbers to look at. Of course, the most important part is the players. So, Ryan, who should fans be keeping an eye on this week?
Yeah, I mean, every year we come into Augusta, there's always some intriguing storylines, and certainly there's no shortages this year. Obviously, you have Scotty Scheffler, who's coming in with all the momentum, 2 wins and a second in his last 3 starts, including the players. He's got Tiger-like odds this week, plus 450. If he's on his game, it's going to be tough to stop him. And then obviously every time we come to Augusta, until it happens, there's going to be a talk about, can Rory McIlroy complete the career Grand Slam? This is his 10th attempt to do so. He struggled a little bit on the PGA Tour early this season, but he's just coming up off a third last week in San Antonio. And then you got the defending champion, Jon Rahm, who surprisingly made the move to LIV last December. And while he hasn't won on the LIV Tour, he has finished top 10 in every start there. So it'll be interesting to see him, and along with some of the other top guys at LIV, to see how they do. They were pretty formidable last year. And then obviously Tiger Woods. If Tiger Woods is in the field, that's always a storyline. And the last time we saw him, he had to withdraw early at the Genesis, his own event, with flu-like symptoms. But hopefully the body is right and he can make it through. First of all, hopefully the weekend, and then all 4 rounds. But you never say never with Tiger, especially with all the experience he has around Augusta. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all those things play out this week.
Definitely, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys go in our draft in a couple minutes here. The live certainly adds a new element. Tigers, he alone is always fascinating. So let's see if he snags a spot. All right, so everyone likes picks. We do have a few good ones for you here. So let's start with the wagering side. And we'll kick it off with our betting article writer. Ryan, who is your favorite play this week based on the odds?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with Brooks Koepka. 20-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's coming off a T45 finish in Live Miami. I don't think it matters one bit. We haven't seen any player elevate his game in majors better than Koepka, as evidenced by his 5 major trophies already. And clearly he likes the course as well. He was the 54-hole leader here last year, so he can certainly play well at Augusta. I don't think there's any reason to overthink this one. If I can get Koepka 20-1 in a major, I'm going to take it every time.
Good call. Let's avoid some confusion here and go to Len.
Yeah, Ryan, that's a good call. I was very surprised to see his odds that long, and maybe the live guys are just getting shortchanged in the books, or maybe they just don't think people will bet them. I don't know, but when I saw Patrick Reed at 80-1, and Patrick Reed has finished in the top 10 here 3 of the past 4 years, and that doesn't even include his win, and he clearly knows how to play this golf course, and that is. One thing we haven't talked about is course experience of all the things, all the nuances, all the little nooks and crannies. The more you play this course, that's why Tiger and Phil can come back here year after year and play blindfolded or almost, figuratively speaking. So Patrick Reed is clearly in that list of guys who knows how to play this golf course, and he's 80-1. And, nobody likes to bet Patrick Reed, but when we're talking about real money, we have to put our personal viewpoints aside. So, 80-1 is 20-1 for Koepka is crazy. 80-1 for Reed is bananas for me.
Yeah, T4 last year.
Yep. That's a great point about the first timers, Len. A lot of people like Wyndham, a lot of people like Ludwig. I mean, they're right there. But again, it's going to be new for them. So keep that in mind before putting it down. Ryan, do you want to finish us off here?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this for the last, few weeks, and a guy that I just cannot get out of my head is Sahith Theegala. I mean, he sort of sprays it all over the place, which is a little concerning, but I do think that Augusta gives you the ability to hit miraculous recovery shots. And when I think about Augusta, I think about guys that are creative, guys that can play a bunch of different types of shots. And you watch Theegala play, and he's working it both ways. He can hit huge slices, huge hooks, like just all types of different shots. He's got so much touch around the greens, and the last 2 years, you'd be hard pressed to find a guy that's putted better than that guy. And he's not a rookie anymore at the Masters. He finished 9th last year, and at 50-1, I mean, that's especially when we think about the fact that a lot of the other top sort of 10, 15 players have kind of been just indifferent this year. I think, if a guy like Scotty Scheffler, who's the overwhelming favorite, just comes out and struggles a little bit, this Masters is really wide open. And a guy like Theegala, I think at 50-1 clearly has the game that he could challenge and maybe even win it. So that would be my pick.
Yeah, no shortage of underperforming guys. Len's DraftKings article certainly touches on that. There's a full list of players in there. Excuse me. And so as we turn to DFS here, let's go ahead and start with Len. Len, who is your favorite DFS play this week, regardless of the website?
Well, favorite play, I guess that would, to me, that's a guy who is maybe I would think would be underpriced. I mean, I can give you Scotty or Rom, and that's kind of a duh. But two guys who are farther down who I like: Hideki Matsuyama, $9,000 on DraftKings. He's playing as well as anyone now in the world other than Scotty Scheffler, and maybe close to Scotty Scheffler in terms of his results. He's won at Riviera. He was 6th, he was 12th, and then he was 7th or something last week at the Valero. He's won this tournament before. One of the things about Hideki Matsuyama, we know that he's a poor putter and stuff, but I just don't know if everybody realizes how good he is around the greens. He leads the PGA Tour in strokes gained around the greens, which is why he can play well at Riviera and he could play well at Augusta National. And he's not the greatest putter, but he's pretty good at avoiding 3 putts. And that might be more important than this week than making birdie putts. And also, one more guy down at 8,000, Shane Lowry. Another guy who we would look at him and wouldn't think he has soft hands. We wouldn't think Shane Lowry has a soft anything except maybe a belly. But he's really good around the greens, and he's proven it. He's finished top 25 here 4 years in a row, 16th last year, 3rd the year before. He had not been playing well until recently, but 2 top 5s in Florida, top 20 at the Players. Like him a lot, 8,000 guy, 9,000 guy. These guys can fit in any lineup, even if you want to pay up for Scotty Scheffler or some of the other guys.
Awesome. And you can get a full breakdown of all of Len's DraftKings picks this week in his article. A reminder, rotowire.com/golf. You can get a full breakdown of Ryan Andrade's FanDuel picks later today. So, Ryan, who are you looking at as your favorite play this week?
Yeah, one that really stood out to me was Russell Henley. I mean, he was way down on both FanDuel and DraftKings. And when you look at even his odds don't quite match that where he is located in there at 55 to 1. I have FanDuel, he's at 8,800, but he's the number 9 ranked player on Data Golf. And to get a guy in the 8K range on FanDuel that's that talented and that well-rounded as he is, I mean, he's been one of the best iron players for the last several years. Obviously, I think that's one of the big stats that everybody started looking at Augusta. He's finished top 4 in 2 of his last 3 starts. And he's played pretty well at Augusta too. He's been T31 or better in his last 6 starts at Augusta, including T4 last year. So I think there's a lot of value there. So that would be one guy that will be in a lot of my lineups.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Russell, from Georgia, went to Georgia. So not that it doesn't mean a lot for everybody out there, but of course, could be a little more for him too. So, other Ryan, you want to round us out here?
Yeah, so those are 3 guys I like as well. I'm going to stick in the 7,000 range with Tommy Fleetwood. He's 7,500 on DraftKings. This is about as cheap as you're ever going to find Fleetwood. He's coming off a strong showing at the Valero. He finished T7 despite losing strokes on the greens. It's his second top 10 in his last 4 starts. So he's clearly in good form. And he also just steps it up in the majors. Over his last 7 majors, he's finished in the top 5 3 times. So, as far as rostership goes, that's always, something you want to consider. I don't think he's going to be super chalky, even at 7,500. I think people will go, towards Russell Henley, like Ryan mentioned. I think Corey Connors, who I believe is also 7,500, who has a great track record at Augusta, he's going to be really chalky, as will Siwoo Kim. So I think Fleetwood is a guy you can get, at a good value and probably only at about 10% rostership.
Yeah, great point. And those other 2 guys, you mentioned, they seem to get a lot of love all the time. Fleetwood does seem to kind of fly under the radar a bit. So that's the type of stuff you need to know if you're tuning in here. All right. Great stuff, guys. Just a reminder again, rotowire.com/golf. You can find stuff from all three of these guys available to anybody. Again, some of it's already up there, including Len's power rankings for the entire field, which should be a pretty good guide here as we move to the final part of our show, our live draft. Of course, we've done betting. We've touched on DFS. Me and my friends, we have a little 8-person draft, which kind of set the stage for this. There's all kinds of office pools and whatever. So what we are going to do now is we're going to essentially, we're just going to pick who we think's going to win, who's going to have the best score. We're going to get 5 golfers per team. We're going to go in a snake draft style. And the winning team will be based on the lowest aggregate score at the end. So it's a tradition that I go last in this format. So we will start with Ryan, and then go to Len, go to Ryan, and then yours truly. So without further ado, the Ryan who knows he got the first pick, lead us off.
Well, I don't think I really have to think about it too much. I think we're gonna go with Tiger. No, Scotty Scheffler. We're gonna go with Scott. We're gonna go with Scotty Scheffler. Not too much brain power required to make a pick like that.
Mm-hmm. There might have been a time where Tiger could have won this draft all by himself, but alas, we move on. Okay, so then Len, you are up.
Yeah, I'm glad that Brian made my choice for me. I'm not sure what I would have done if I would have had the first pick. I know that Scheffler is Scheffler, but Rahm is pretty good too, and I'm going to take Jon Rahm, because that would be my those would be the top 2 for me. So Rahm for me, please.
Awesome. All right, Ryan, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going with Rory. Partially a fan pick because I want Rory to complete the career Grand Slam, but he's coming in great form as well. So
awesome. Yeah, that was going to be a tough one for me. I want him to win too, but I don't know if I'm a believer outside of our other season-long league, Len. Well, we see how that's going so far. But I guess I get 2 guys here. It's really tough to avoid Brooks. He ranks number 3 in Len's power rankings. He just steps up, seemingly anytime he plays in a major. So we're going to start with him. The next guy on the list, kind of in a tough spot here. Do I throw a curveball or not? I don't think so. Is he going to win? I don't know. He probably has to at some point, right? So let's go with Xander Schauffele here to start the second round. And back to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I like Schauffele. That would have been my pick. I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth. Not many guys play better at Augusta.
Ooh, another tough one to decide on there. Hopefully he can keep it out of the water. All right, moving on to Len.
Yeah, I think those are good picks. Those would have been just what I would have done in I don't know if in that order, but those 3 guys would have been my next 3 guys off the board. I'm going to take Hideki Matsuyama, and for all the reasons I stated earlier. And yeah.
Fantastic.
That was going to be who I was thinking of taking.
I think there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I am thinking about just because I want to mix things up a little bit and make things interesting. I'm going to go with Joaquin Niemann. I think I think he's got a lot of motivation coming in here. We saw that last year. Live players did pretty darn well, and I like his game. I like his drives it drives it long. Great iron player, pretty solid short game. I think he should be up there. And then I guess that gives me another one here. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zalatoris. I think that guy's been a major killer in his short career, and not always the best guy from week to week, but he's kind of one of those guys that steps it up in the majors. Obviously, elite ball striker. And he's finished top 6 here in his 2 tries. So I'll take Zalatoris.
All right. A lot of people probably holding some tasty tickets on him this week. Let's move on back to you, Len.
Yep, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with I'm going to take Matt Fitzpatrick, who, by the way, is another guy for people playing DraftKings. He's in the 7,000s. There are so many guys in the 7,000s, and there are so many. All the top guys are in the tournament. Just guys got to be in the 7,000s, and he had not been playing well all year, but he found this 4-gram weight in his driver that he didn't know was there, or he had forgot was there. What a bizarre story that was. And they took it out, and 4 grams means the difference, the whole thing, to a professional golfer. He was 5th at the Players. He was 10th last week at the Valero. He's played very well at the Masters. He's got a number of reps under his belt, 4 or 5 times now. It wouldn't surprise me if he is on the first page of the leaderboard on Sunday by any means. So now Fitzpatrick.
That's fascinating story with that driver. I mean, somehow he didn't notice that, but definitely makes him very interesting this week. All right, Ryan, back to you.
Yeah, so I know it can be kind of taboo to take a guy playing in his first Masters, but I'm going to go with Ludwig Aubert. Not only is it his first Masters, it's his first major. So he does have the disadvantage of not playing, on that stage or at the course. But if there's anybody whose game is going to translate to majors, it's his. He drives it long. He drives it straight. He hits his irons well. He's coming off 6 straight top 25s. Give me Aubert.
Love that pick. I was just about to go there myself. So giving me second thoughts here. I guess I take 2 here. So the first one, we talked about first timers at the same time. He won last year. It's kind of hard to avoid. I'm going with Wyndham Clark. Would love to pair him with the next guy on the list too. Victor Hovland. Hopefully we're buying low here. Wasn't long ago, he was making a case for that top spot. I don't really love anybody else here, so we're going to try to swing big and hit for the fences and hope he hits that home run. All right, back to you, Ryan.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the live guy myself, and I'm going to take Cam Smith. He was T2 in Hong Kong. And he's finished top 10 in the Masters in 3 of his last 4 appearances. So I'm going to go with the course history angle and go with Cam.
Right on. What?
Yeah, deciding between 2 guys. I think I'm going to go with Sahith Theegala. Talked about him earlier. He does spray his drives. You can sort of get away with that here at this golf course a little bit, and he's one of the best putters in the world. He is really great around the greens as well. Not so much statistically this year, much better last year, but he finished 9th here last year for a reason, and the people love him. He's also got a big following wherever he goes. Non-Tiger, non-Spieth, non-Rory division. He's one of the most popular players. So Sahith Theegala.
Great pick. All right. Back to the top here, Ryan.
Yep, I love Theegala, obviously. I probably would have taken him with one of these 2. I'm going to go with Cameron Young. I just like his ball flight for Augusta because he's one of those higher level players that is very comfortable playing like a big power draw. I just feel like his ball striking's been great this year. He's had a few good showings lately, so I'll take Cam Young there. And then I'm gonna take, well, I guess I say take a shot. I think he's sort of fallen down the board a little bit just because of the news last week of his caddy splitting with him, which I think caught pretty much everybody off guard. But I'm going to take Justin Thomas. I feel like when these sorts of situations happen, usually the next start or two, like there's a little bit extra juice for the player if there's some type of split like that. And obviously he's tremendous iron player, tremendous short game player. Augusta is one of those courses that it would just seem like would line up well for him. And I feel like one of these days he will get to slip on a green jacket. And hopefully it's this week.
That would do you well, sir.
That would be brutal for Bones if it did happen this week.
That would be brutal. Yeah.
In more ways than one,
Yeah.
also. All right, back to you, Len.
Yeah, I knew this guy was going to be there for me because who wants to take Patrick Reed? But I'm trying to win your guys' money. So,
Hey, we didn't say anything about money.
No, I'll take Patrick Reed. He's just got to play with your, think with your head and not with your heart or something like that. And he just does it too many times. I think the funny thing about Patrick Reed, I think he just relishes in playing well and pissing people off. I think if he wants to piss people off more than he really wants to win, that's his big satisfaction, is not the green jacket. It's just getting everyone so mad at him. So you have to admire that in some sort of strange way. So Patrick Reed.
All right. And Patrick does occupy a very prominent spot on Len's power rankings. So as noted, he's putting his money where his mouth is, and you can find out exactly where Patrick sits again, rotowire.com/golf. Okay, Ryan, back to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a second straight live golfer, and I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson, former Masters champion, 5 top 10 finishes at Augusta over his last 8 appearances, and he did win on live this year in Las Vegas.
Fantastic. Okay. Back to me, 2 picks here as we get to the end. I'm going to go ahead and take Patrick Cantlay with the first one. Not hearing a ton of buzz about him this week. Still owns a healthy spot in the OWGR, so I'll be happy to pick him up here. And my last name is O'Brien, so let's finish it off with an Irish guy, and I will take Shane Lowry for my final pick of the 5th round here. And all right, let's hear what you guys have for our last ones as well. Back to you, Ryan P.
So I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa with my last pick. I know he hasn't, played particularly great this year, but, sometimes when it comes to majors, that's not the be all end all. He's a 2-time major champion, so he definitely, elevates his game on the biggest stage. And I think he's worth a flyer with my last pick. Last 2 years here at Augusta, T10 and solo 5th.
All right, Len.
Just about every guy on my board is gone for our draft, but I'm gonna probably snake somebody right here. But I think the talk about Russell Henley was proper and correct and plays well here. Really one of the most unassuming guys on the golf course in the top 25. Now up to his career best world ranking, 17, something like that. Playing well, Russell Henley.
All right. Well, Ryan, you can take the guy you wanted first with your last pick if you want here. Tiger's still out there.
Yeah, that would be fun to take him. No, I was actually, when Lynn was making his pick, I was deciding between three guys. I had Henley, Siwoo Kim, and Corey Connors, and like I feel like they're all kind of very similar to me. Like they're all great ball strikers. Obviously, they've all had a fair amount of success at Augusta. I think I'm gonna go with Siwoo. I think I'm gonna go with Siwoo because I think he's a little bit better around the greens than Connors, and I think that's obviously a big key around here. You know, he's fourth in strokes gained tee to green this season. You know, the putter is sort of just whatever for Siwoo, but he has gained strokes on the greens the last 3 years here. And he's made 6 straight cuts at Augusta, so I will take Siwoo with the last pick.
All right, that wraps up the draft. We will categorize the teams and post that on X if you'd like to follow along at RotoWire Golf. See who winds up on top on Sunday, and maybe we'll get a celebratory green jacket for whoever that person is. All right, guys, well, great stuff. Anything else you'd like to add here at the end?
I would just say that I think that just of all the big stories, and there are so many stories. I mean, if Rory McIlroy could win this Masters, he would be only the 6th player to complete the career Grand Slam. Rich Lerner said this. Rich Lerner from Golf Channel. Rory McIlroy right now is one of the great players of his generation. If he wins this one tournament, he becomes one of the greatest players ever. It is just so monumental, and gosh, to have that pressure on you, maybe that's why he hasn't done it. But of all the big stories, maybe save Tiger winning, that would be the biggest story for me this week.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That'll be
I
fun to
need
watch.
as a Jordan Spieth longtime fan, I would love to see him in contention again to win his 5th green jacket. He's always up there and he's always exciting. And, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of great storylines that we've touched on, but Spieth in contention, there's nothing that quite hits like that with all the different outcomes you can see. So,
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that we have a competitive final round. I think, you know, with Brian Harman running away with the Open last year, that was kind of a bummer. Took some of the drama out of it. You know, and with how well Scotty Scheffler's played, like if there was ever a year that someone, you know, ran away and won by 7 shots, it would be him. But I'm just hoping we have an entertaining and dramatic final round.
Absolutely. Nothing quite as fun. I'm sure we've all got our own examples, but the 2019 Tiger win, especially early in the morning, was you know, that's what we're hoping for. So, all right, folks. Well, I think that wraps it up here. Thank you all for joining. One more time. RotoWire.com/golf. You'll get a full rundown from all 3 guys here: power rankings, DFS picks, bets. We have a whole bunch of other tools for you to check out, so please head there when you sign off. And with that, enjoy a tradition unlike any other.
Bye, everybody.